It was just another ordinary day. I went shopping for groceries just after leaving my workplace. I work as a programmer in a small video game firm. At the grocery store, I picked up the usual things. Among other items, I bought a large pickle jar, because I planned to make ham, cheese, and pickle sandwiches for myself and my friends Matt, Carla, and Judy, who were coming over to watch a movie at my apartment that night. When I arrived home, I put all the groceries away in the kitchen and the fridge, then headed for a shower to freshen up. As I stepped up from the shower, reaching for my towel to dry my hair, a sudden noise snapped me out of my thoughts. It came from the kitchen, a distinct sound of something hard striking against glass. Initially, I brushed it off, attributing it to settling noises or something mundane. But just as I was about to switch on the hairdryer, the noise resounded again, louder this time. Puzzled, I left the hairdryer on a bathroom shelf and made my way to the kitchen, certain that the strange noise originated from there. In the kitchen, I quickly inspected the area but didn't find anything that could have produced that sound. I waited for a moment, hoping to hear it again, but there was only silence. Shrugging it off, I returned to the bathroom and resumed drying my hair. Afterward, I put on clean clothes and began tidying up the living room to prepare for my friend's arrival. Meanwhile, Judy called to confirm our planned movie night. As I chatted with her, the noise repeated again, this time even louder than before, recurring through the apartment and causing me to pause mid-conversation with Judy. I ended the call with Judy hastily excusing myself by saying I needed to prepare sandwiches for our movie night. The mysterious noise was really getting on my nerves now. Making my way back to the kitchen, I was now determined to uncover its source once and for all. As I entered the kitchen, I scanned the area, trying to discern the source of the unsettling noise. That's when I noticed something odd. The large pickle jar I had left on the kitchen counter, near the sink's rim, had shifted about 5 inches away from its original position. It now rested precariously on the edge of the countertop, just a tiny bit away from falling off. I was certain I hadn't left the jar in such a dangerous position. It would have been a foolish thing to do. But how had it moved by itself? I couldn't fathom an explanation. Perhaps a minor seismic shock? Yet, nothing else in the kitchen seemed to have been disturbed. I figured that the noise probably came from the jar moving. Confused, I went closer to the counter to check it out. Carefully, I moved nearer to the jar and leaned in, my face just inches away from it. As I peered inside, trying to make sense of the situation, suddenly one of the pickles jerked violently and struck the inside of the glass jar, making it jolt slightly sideways along the counter's edge. The unexpected movement startled me, and I stumbled backward, falling to the kitchen floor in fright. In that moment, another violent impact against the inside of the jar caused it to plummet to the floor, shattering into countless pieces upon contact. Pickle juice sprayed across the floor and splattered onto the cabinet's doors, while pickles and glass fragments scattered in every direction, creating a mess that seemed to cover every inch of the kitchen. Still seated on the floor, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. One of the pickles began twisting and stretching out as it was changing shape, turning into this long, dark green worm, about 3 feet in length and 2 inches thick. It started slithering toward me, like a snake without a head, making this creepy squishing mushy noise, kinda like ground meat being stirred or mixed together in a bowl or something. I was frozen, just watching in horror as this bizarre thing moved closer to me. I yelled in fear, and scrambled to get off the slippery floor, which was covered in spilled pickle juice. After a bit of struggling, I managed to regain my footing just before the worm reached my left ankle. It looked like it was trying to bite me with its wide-open extremity resembling a mouth, lined with rows of small sharp teeth. I bolted out of the kitchen and into the living room, with the worm hot on my heels, slithering faster than before. Panic surged through me as I desperately tried to evade the creature. I grabbed whatever I could find in the living room and hurled it at the worm, hoping to fend off its attack. Everything was unfolding in a blur, and there was no time to think, only to react. Instinctively, I tried to make a dash for the apartment door to escape outside. But before I could even reach the living room's exit, the worm, moving really fast, swiftly reached my right foot, causing me to trip and tumble to the floor. In an instant, it wrapped itself tightly around my ankle and began slowly climbing up my leg. I let out a gut-wrenching scream and cried for help, vigorously shaking my leg repeatedly in a desperate attempt to get rid of the worm. With panic rising, I also resorted to punching the worm many times, feeling its cold and viscid texture under my fists. However, it clung on tightly, refusing to let go. The worm reached my groin and, at the same time, black yellowish tentacles began to protrude from its mouth, some reaching menacingly towards my face while others snaked their way into my pants through the waistline. At that point, something miraculous occurred. My phone on the small coffee table nearby began ringing and vibrating. Suddenly, the worm stopped whatever it was trying to do, detaching from my leg and dropping to the floor. It immediately started to contort as if in excruciating pain. Simultaneously, as the worm disengaged from my leg, it retracted its tentacles in a flash, and I narrowly avoided one of them tightening around my testicles. The phone continued to ring and vibrate incessantly as the worm awkwardly slithered towards the bathroom and entered, taking advantage of the fact that I had left the door half open. I'm pretty sure either the phone's ringtone or its vibrations somehow caused the creature so much pain that it just wanted to escape as fast as it could from it. I moved fast, attempting to grab the chance to slam the bathroom door shut and trap the creature inside. But as I reached for the handle, I saw the worm's tail sticking out of the toilet. The thing was trying to escape down the drain. I sprinted to the toilet and flushed it, quickly closing the lid and placing a heavy vase on top to keep it shut. Then, I hurried out of the bathroom, closed the door, and locked it tight. Still incredulous and shocked by what I had just experienced, I realized the phone was still ringing, so, nearly out of breath, I answered the call. It was my friend Matt, who was calling to say he would arrive about 15 minutes late for our planned movie night. But the phone conversation was soon interrupted, as a few neighbors, who had heard my screams for help, began persistently knocking on my door and ringing the doorbell. I swung the door open to find puzzled faces staring at me. Unsure what to say, I blurted out that I had seen a huge cockroach in my place and that I'm terrified of them. I said sorry for the fuss I had caused in the building. I then made the decision to cancel the planned movie night, recounting my bizarre and inexplicable ordeal to my friends over the phone. And that very night, I moved to stay at my friend Matt's place, where I remained until I found a new apartment, a couple of weeks later. Before moving to the new apartment, I went back to my old place one Saturday afternoon with my friends. They helped me pack and move my stuff out. Before we went in, I warned them to stay alert once inside and be ready to run if that worm had somehow escaped from the bathroom. They all gave me skeptical looks, still not really believing what I had seen the evening of the canceled movie night. When we all stepped into the apartment, I glanced around nervously and, with extreme caution, made my way inside. The apartment reeked of pickle juice mixed with a foul odor, like the smell of spoiled food. The broken jar pieces littered the kitchen floor, along with the rotten pickles. While there, I felt extremely anxious and couldn't wait to get out of the place. I told my friends not to open the bathroom door under any circumstances. Despite finding it amusing, they complied anyway. After finishing packing, and just before leaving the apartment, I gathered the courage to press my ear against the bathroom door to listen for any noises. Hearing none, I attached a post-it note to the bathroom door with a warning: bathroom may be infested with big nasty bugs. Proceed with exceptional caution. Not a prank. Then, we all left the apartment, carrying my packed belongings and suitcases with us. Until now, I still haven't found an explanation for the creature I witnessed emerging from that pickle jar. Besides my immediate family and closest friends, I haven't shared this remarkable story with anyone else. Who would believe me, anyway? Even my nearest and dearest doubted my account, thinking I was high on drugs when I had that bizarre encounter with the worm. However, I assure you, I've never indulged in recreational drugs, nor was I under the influence of alcohol. A month later, I asked my former landlord if the new tenants had reported any infestation problems in my old apartment. She replied that there had been no problems at all, and she still couldn't understand why I had left that note on the bathroom's door and a large, heavy vase on the toilet. More months passed, and I became obsessed with researching the internet to find similar incidents or any possible scientific explanations for what I had experienced. However, I couldn't find anything concrete. Later, I turned to online paranormal discussion forums, where someone directed me to a specific message board on the dark web. With some hesitation, I eventually joined this rather exclusive forum dedicated to all sorts of strange phenomena. One section of the forum was dedicated to mysterious sightings and incidents involving cryptids, these enigmatic creatures that are widely talked about but rarely encountered up close, like the Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster. I felt it was the perfect place to share my own experience, hoping to find others who had encountered something similar. I received numerous replies from other users, with some suggesting clandestine military experiments involving bioengineered parasites being covertly introduced into the population, while others mentioned the smuggling of exotic live creatures across parallel universes. Many of these replies included compelling evidence, such as images, audio recordings, or video footage. Someone brought up the Mongolian deathworm, a creature folks say lives out in the Gobi Desert. They say it looks like a 2-foot-long sausage, doesn't have a head or legs, and if you even touch it, you're done for. Bam, instant death. They claim it hangs out in the loneliest spots in the desert. It was also incredibly intriguing, and I was blown away. I realized I had barely scratched the surface of a hidden realm, one that was as perilous as it was captivating. I've never bought another pickle jar, or any kind of food jar, ever since.